EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to the JAKIB Halftime Show. It is a 3-0 game here at the open of this one. A weird half, a lot of injuries plaguing the Eagles right now on offense. And Jalen Hurts, the highs are high and the lows are low. 2 turnovers for Jalen Hurts there in the first half. I'm your host, Zander Krause. Thanks, everybody, for being here on this halftime show. I'll be joined shortly by John McMullen, who's been watching the game, and he'll have his takeaways on this first half. 3-0 in this game. The Eagles just failed to get points on that last drive. They went for it with a 4th and 1, kind of did a fake of the tush push, gave to Saquon Barkley. He cannot convert. So 3-0 scoreless. The Eagles are scoreless through the first half of football. I think the positive thing to take away from this game so far is the defense has looked great. Just in that half right there, in the second quarter alone, the Philadelphia Eagles offense had 25 plays. Saints only had 7. So one of John McMullen's keys was control the clock. They did that in the second half, and now they're down 3-0 here at halftime. I have John McMullen in the green room. We will go to our man, Johnny Mack, right now. Johnny Mack, welcome to the show, man. What are your first takeaways as you watch that first half? It's a 3-0 game, not what we thought it would be at halftime.
Just like we expected.
Yep, just like we drew it up.
That Philadelphia Eagles defense holds the explosive 45.5 points per game New Orleans Saints to 71 yards. Jalen Carter's playing tremendously. So he was sort of fire lit under him, called his own performance trash through the first couple of weeks, and obviously got in trouble, team trouble for being late to a team meeting. And he is playing like the Jalen Carter we all expected. He's creating some havoc up front. I think the Eagles, it's funny, man. One injury, boom. Eric McCoy's been the best center in football early this season. He comes out of the game and completely different New Orleans team, but you do give credit to the Eagles defense. Offensively, the Eagles are moving the ball, a lot of good stuff, and not finishing. 2 turnovers. I know everybody's going to kill Jalen Hurts, deservedly so, for the fumble. That's on him. That was a poor route by Devontae Smith. That was an A.J. Brown play. That's an A.J. Brown route. That's a big body
John,
route.
You have a problem with the decision? You have the problem with the decision there?
I got a problem with them putting Devontae into an A.J. situation. But typically, he doesn't have the body, but typically that was a poor route. You can count on one hand the time Devontae Smith does that during the season. He is a tremendous route runner. So that was disappointing, the fact that he didn't run the route the way he was supposed to and kind of left Jalen Hurts out to dry.
It was a really bad route. They just showed it on the replay. It was a bad route from Devontae, which you don't see
Which it never happens. It's so uncharacteristic. And then at the end of the game, end of the half, the Eagles trying to get too cute off the tush push with trying to get the football to Saquon Barkley. It blew up on him.
I just don't get it. It's a 3-0 game going into halftime. Take the damn points. Points are hard to come by in this game. 13 seconds on the clock. I don't understand.
Yeah, that's who they are. They're aggressive. Aggressiveness has served them well. It hasn't served them well the last couple times. But they've gone on a 4th down throughout the game, and they were successful. So people tend to focus on the plays that don't work, which is understandable, no question about it.
I just think, certain moments, John, 13 seconds and a half is a 3-0 game. I get it. They're going to live and die with what they do in the analytics, but don't you have to have some flexibility there? Okay, there's 13 seconds and a half. We're in a tight ball game with the best offense in the NFL through 2 weeks. Give me the 3 points, and I'll talk to you in the second half.
Well, I would have took the 3 points as well, tied the game, especially considering you've had 2 turnovers. You want to get points on the board. You want to get some momentum. That's what I would have done personally. The Eagles stuck to their guns. That's what they believe. You can see the good of it, the bad of it, or though, most people can. But obviously it's going to be trended in a negative direction. They've outplayed, though. There's no doubt they have outplayed the New Orleans Saints through 30 minutes of football. And they're in the game. That's a positive. The Saints don't look equipped to handle that McCoy injury. When you do get Derek Carr in 3rd and long, he's not good. He had a potential for a touchdown. Shaheed had Quinyon Mitchell beat. He underthrew the football, and that enabled Quinyon to get back into the play. A lot of injuries for the Eagles, though, as well. Britton Covey left with a shoulder injury. That's why Cooper DeJean was back on that one punt return. Yep. The entire right side of the offensive line, even more so. Lane Johnson evaluated for concussion, and I believe Pam Oliver was doing the game, is reported that he was vomiting. So that's not a good sign.
Not a good
I wouldn't
sign
expect to see.
I was thinking sickness, and then I heard concussion, and you hear vomiting. You don't
well,
like
that's why the assumption was he was sick because he was vomiting, but evidently it's because of the concussion. So
I'll tell you what, that offensive line held up John at the end there.
Tyler Steen played well. I don't know if anybody was
Fred
paying
Johnson
attention.
Did pretty good too. Yeah.
Yeah, Fred got caught on that false start, but I thought they held up well you're right, as a whole. But I was especially impressed with Tyler Steen because he played a longer stretch. Mekhi Becton out with a finger injury. And Tyler Steen, I thought, held up pretty darn well. I do think the game planning, you can see, understanding that they weren't going to be without AJ Brown, a lot more Dallas Goedert involved, and it would look
7
really
catches,
good.
80 yards for Dallas. Yep.
Yeah, it would look really good if they were able to cash in when he had that 43-yard reception down the field. So a lot of good stuff, but man, when you turn it over twice like they did, and you're being maybe over aggressive, I think, certainly when you're at that stage, but 191-71. I don't know how many people had that as their that this Philadelphia Eagles defense would hold this New Orleans offense to 71 yards.
Yeah. John, and you said it before the game, control the clock. They had 25 offensive plays. Yeah, but
you know what? They deferred. I was like, you're deferring? But it worked out.
I mean, and look, it looked like it worked out because now they're going to get the ball here at the second half. But John, real quick, I want to talk about Jalen Hurts just for a second. The highs are high with him, man, but the lows are low. He's 18 of 22 today for 161 yards. He's playing good football. He had a big run to flip the field on that last drive. He plays great in moments. And then the lows are too low. And I think it's the biggest reason we have 0 points on the board. Just 2 bad turnovers for this team. What do we do about it? It's 26 turnovers now since the start of last season for Jalen Hurts. That's a lot, man.
Yeah, it is. And that's, they got to be better with ball security. And that's what Nick's going to talk about, I can guarantee. You do have to look at them individually. And I think one was not his fault. I think one was his fault. So it's always an individual situation. I blame the interception more on Devontae Smith and then the coaching staff before I get to Jalen Hurts. Like, why are you, if you want to run that play, even with Johnny Wilson out there, I mean, try it with Johnny Wilson. I don't know. But
how about him though, Johnny Mack, when that 3rd down? Johnny Wilson fighting through a tackle for a first down.
Johnny Wilson is impressive from the fact that I've seen a lot of big receivers, and he's like 6'6", 231, and most of them don't play like they're 6'6", 2. He plays like it, like he is a big physical guy. Yeah. So that's the positive. Now the negative, he got caught for a holding, and it was pretty short. It wasn't a bad call.
Yeah, it was that drive. It was that same drive too. Yeah.
It was a clear, definitive holding call in the open field that they're rarely going to miss. So there's, you see that with rookies all the time, like Quinyon. I mean, he got beat, and if that's a good throw by Derek Carr, that's 6. But you know what? It wasn't a good throw, and he underthrew it. And Quinyon showed the recovery speed, recovery ability to get back in the play and break it up. So I got no problem typically with living through the growing pains of young players that can play a little bit. And that's certainly the case with Quinyon. We'll see if it's the case with Johnny Wilson, but you do like these little, that was a physical run after he caught it. And you've seen it. And I wrote about this on Sports Illustrated. Kellen Moore's sort of flatline. No matter what you talk about, the 67-yard A.J. Brown touchdown in week 1 or the Saquon Barkley drop in week 2, same guy talking about both plays. He lit up like a Christmas tree when he was talking about Johnny Wilson's blocking in the week 1. Just in sort of interesting delve into a coach's mind, what excites them. But yeah, so some positive stuff from Johnny Wilson as well. But
John,
Eagles should be winning this game.
No doubt. John, real quick, last question. Surprised with the game plan. I mean, Hurts is 16-19, or is he 18-22 or somewhere in that range? They have 8 total rushes. Saquon Barkley is 4 carries on the game. We thought it was going to be a big running game. No A.J. Brown. They have 8 carries, and 4 of them are Jalen Hurts. Surprised.
Yeah, and Britton Covey's been ruled out, by the way, so he's not going to return to the game.
I know
so
the play he got. Yeah, I think I know which play he got bopped on.
I didn't see it.
Down. I think it was that play.
The first down was at that play.
And he made a great play and got around. And he
did make that was a great.
He got hit out of bounds.
That was Britton Covey. It is really difficult to deal with him in space. So didn't see the end of the play. So hopefully he'll be okay. But he's ruled out. Mekhi Becton's questionable, so he still has a chance to return. No update on Lane yet. I have not seen him be ruled out, but I would not expect Lane Johnson in the second half. So, but hey, they're in it and they're playing very well defensively. I didn't think we'd be saying that, but the defensive front, you saw a sack from Jordan Davis. So everybody there, you got your sack. Jalen Carter to me has been the best player on the field. That's what I want to see from Jalen.
Need more consistency from him now, but yeah,
exactly. Week in and week out, he's got that kind of ability.
No doubt.
And that's the frustrating part. I think Nakobe's been better. A lot of good on the defensive side for the Eagles.
Yep, no doubt. Johnny Mac, I'll let you go, man. Thank you for joining in on the halftime. We'll talk to you in the post-game show. Great stuff, Johnny Mac.
All right, thanks everybody.
All right, there's Johnny Mac joining us on the halftime show. I will kick it around with you guys until the game returns. I tell you what, I'm going to be a little bit harder on my man Jalen Hurts than Johnny Mac was. I get it. Devontae Smith didn't make the route, but I don't like the decision there on third down. He forces it into a tight window. Tyrann Mathieu easily intercepted that football. Wasn't open. I thought Hurts forced that ball in there, and then the fumble. I mean, like I said, I think the highs are high with Jalen. I love watching him when he looks good. And the run right at the last run on the last drive, great run. He flipped the field with a 30 or 30+ yard run there. But then you get no points. But again, his highs are highs and his lows are too low. 6 turnovers now, guys. 3 games. We're 2.5 games into the season. He has 6 turnovers on the board. It's too many turnovers. It's not winning football. You can blame Devontae. You can blame the coaches. You can blame everybody else. It's too many turnovers to win football games in the NFL. He has to be better in this game. And, they're down 3-0 here as the second half is getting ready to kick off. He's going to have to take them over the top. Eagles will get the ball here at the start of the half. So it'll be good to see what they do. I'm not a big fan of the game plan right now. I know Jalen's looked pretty good throwing the ball other than the interception, but why does Saquon Barkley have 5 carries for 17 yards in the first half? Why? You don't have A.J. Brown on the field, the best football player on the team, and why aren't you running the football? I don't understand that. So second half is kicking off now, everybody. I'm going to get out of here. Enjoy the second half. We will see you on the JAKIB post-game show coming up right after the game. We'll have John McMullen. We'll have Dan Cilio. We'll have myself. It'll be a fiery show. We'll talk defense. We'll talk offense, and we'll talk the recap of this football game. Let's hope the Eagles can go out there and get the win. And hopefully those 3 points that Nick should have taken don't cost us here at the end of the game. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in on the JAKIB Halftime Show. We will catch you on the postgame show.
EAGLES, Eagles.